Hello and welcome again. I'm Araba Kumsin. This week, the three regions of the north have been a focal point for some of the political parties as they take their campaigns there. As you may be aware, the People's National Convention only yesterday launched its manifesto in the Upper East Regional Capital, Bolgatanga. The MPP running mate, Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia, is also in the Upper East where he has been campaigning. The Convention People's Party's presidential candidate has also taken his campaign to the northern region. And just today, the President, John Mahama, is beginning a three-day campaign tour of the Upper West region. Let's start with him because scores of NDC supporters have gathered at the Wa airstrip to welcome him as he begins his tour there. Rafiq Salam is our man on the ground and he joins us on the line. Hello, Rafiq.
Hello, Araba.
Now, clearly the president is starting his campaign there on a good note by inaugurating this airstrip at Wa. First of all, describe to us how this edifice looks like.
To be honest with you, the president, when he touched down, he didn't inaugurate or commission the airstrip in Wa that was given a facelift. It's not on the itinerary for now. He quickly moved to the presidential launch in Wa, and now he's currently at Durmo, where he is paying a courtesy call on the paramount chief of the Durmo National Council, Na Somanya Nkorida Na II. And so the president is right here at Durmo in the West constituency, meeting with the paramount chief here.
So tell us, you know the terrain very well. Why is Durmo important to the campaign? For which reason they started off there? What has been the NDC's chances in that particular area over the years?
This is a constituency that has been with the NDC since 1993. And I can tell you that before and then until 2004, when it was recapped and for War West to be on its own and a West Central. Formerly, it used to be part of the West Central, and now War West is now on its own. And so there's a big project in this particular constituency which the president is interested in, and I'm told that the president will be visiting there, talking about the War Water project. $51 million has been sunk into this project. And then the president will laugh, I am told, that to visit that particular area. And so Durmo is an important place for them. And also, this is also one of the constituencies where they are having an independent candidate, a member of the NDC, who is going on his own. And so for them to really capture power and then also have the seat again, they need to be here to see things for themselves in the resources in order to hold on to that particular seat. And that's the seat being held by Joseph Gilechire, who has been the MP since 2004. And I remember he was first regional minister for Upper West Region in 1983.
Very quickly, Rafiq, where else is the president expected to take his campaign to?
From Durmo, he will move to Wachau, still part of the War West constituency, where he will meet the chiefs there and also meet party supporters. And then after that, he has to move straight to Fancy, the district capital of the West constituency, before moving back to Dafia, moving back to Issa, that's DBI. From there, he will come to Buse and then to Dafiema, and then he will end the day. And so the president is expected to visit all these areas today and then return and then to continue tomorrow at the other stage.
Thank you very much. That is Rafiq Salam, Upper West Regional Correspondent, with that update of the president's campaign in the Upper West region, where he kick-started his campaign there actually today. Let's stay in the north, the northern region to be specific, because the Convention People's Party's Ivor Greenstreet has taken his campaign there after he wrapped up his Bunohafu regional campaign tour. Addressing supporters in Saboba, the CPP presidential candidate promised to provide persons with disability free education, healthcare, and said a CPP government will ensure that transportation will be made progressively free for all persons with disability. Listen.
Education for persons with disabilities will be totally free from kindergarten all the way to tertiary. That healthcare for persons with disabilities and access to the NHIS will be totally free. We will ensure that even transportation will be made progressively free for all persons with disabilities. That our percentage for the District Assembly Common Fund for persons with disability will go straight immediately to 5%. Far from that, that money will not go to the district assembly, but will go directly into separate bank accounts and separate funds to be used for that purpose. And then on top of that, we shall be passing a law which shall require all employers, whether in the private sector or in the public sector, to employ at least 5% of their workforce as persons with disabilities.
So that was CPP presidential candidate Ivor Greenstreet there. We'll be back with more on the campaign trail. Don't go away. You're welcome back. As we left for the break, we're talking about the focus of activities, political activities in the North, 3 regions of the North. Let's turn our attention on the People's National Convention, which only yesterday launched their manifesto in the Upper East Regional Capital, Bolgatanga. The party's 55-page manifesto booklet has on its front cover the inscription, "New Beginning, New Deal, New Force." It highlights the party's plans in some key areas, including housing, health delivery, public transport, human resource development, corruption, sports, and many much more. Here is party flag bearer, Dr. Edward Mahama.
The economy of Ghana, the economy is in serious trouble. Why? Because we are borrowing more than we are earning. And therefore, we are incurring a debt for your children and your children's children. That is unfair, very, very unfair. That we should chop the money and ask them to pay for it. So I'm coming, as my running mate said, to make sure that we have a balanced budget, to make sure that we grow the economy of Ghana at 10% per annum on the back of agri only. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah got us independence 6th March 1957. That was political independence. Economically, we are still dependent. I have got the number 6 telling you that Edward Nasekri Mahama is going to bring economic independence to Ghana and Africa. Those of you who are religious and know a little bit about God, you know that in 6 days, God created everything that He created. Yes. On the 7th day, He rested. So I have been put on number 6 as a sign of completion. God completed creating everything He created on the 6th day. I have the number 6. That is the end of your problems in Ghana.
So that is a presidential candidate of the People's National Convention, Dr. Edward Mahama, addressing supporters at the launch of the party's manifesto in Bolgatanga yesterday. I have with me in the studio head of our political desk, Evans Mensah, to throw some more light on why the Northern region is so crucial, you know, for some of these parties going into the elections. So Evans, welcome to Election Brief.
Thank you.
So it may be by coincidence we have the NPP running mate in the Upper East region. We have the PNC, just we saw right now, in the Upper East as well, where they launched their manifesto. The president is in the Upper West region, and the CPP flag bearers in the Northern region. There's a lot of activities in the 3 regions of the North. Tell us, why is it so crucial for these parties to garner the votes from the people of the 3 regions of the North?
It's interesting because the 3 regions of the North, none of the regions there is a swing region. In other words, it hasn't shown over the years that if you win any of these regions, you necessarily will win the national elections. In fact, it's been a stronghold of the NDC since 1992. They've always won Upper East, Upper West, Northern region, and then the Volta region. And MPP has also always won the Eastern region and the Central region. Right. And then there's 4 other regions that everybody has to fight for, which is the Western region, the Central region. There's also the Greater Accra region that you have to fight for, and the Bonahafu region. These are the swing regions. Right. So you think these are the areas that you think, because if you win those regions, then you're getting the swing voters, and you're more likely to win. But I guess this year, something interesting is happening because we've been to the North. We've been to ballot boxes, been to Upper East and Upper West. So I have a sense of what is happening. Okay. For the PNC, you understand why. The Upper East region is where they have their only parliamentary candidate in Hassan Azong in Bulsa, and they've shown that they can get something going in the Upper East region. So it makes sense for them to go there and launch their manifesto. But for the NDC, they simply need to maintain their position, either increase their vote or ensure that they don't drop from where they've been over the years. It makes more sense.
Did they drop in the last election?
Yes. I mean, NPP managed to break their backs slightly in the 3 regions of the north and increase their parliamentary candidates there slightly up. And that is a concern for them. And the Dr. Bawumia phenomenon is also becoming quite a formidable one in the 3 regions of the north. For the NPP, makes absolute sense to try and if you pay attention to the strategy that both main parties are trying to do. They're all trying to ensure that in the strongholds of their opponents, they know they're not going to win, but slow them down. In other words, reduce the votes that they've had there in the past. Right. Because if you manage to do that, what it means is that you probably gain, and that could, remember, the difference between the NPP and NDC always is a few thousand votes. They always have 10,000, 5,000 people, 5 million Ghanaians who always vote for them.
Right.
You need a little bit more to go over the line. And that is a strategy. So NPP is focusing on the 3 regions of the north and the Volta region, if you paid attention to it. And that has constantly been going there. Yes. But because they know that they have to break NDC's back in their strongholds. If the results start coming in and NPP is doing well in NDC's strongholds, you know what is going to happen eventually. Exactly. So that is for NPP, makes absolute sense to focus a bit more there. For the CPP, I honestly cannot put my finger on why they think that the northern regions will mean something for them, except for what I've begun to hear about Dr. Papakwesi Indom. I understand that he's with
the Progressive People's Party.
Exactly. Sorry, the Progressive People's Party. They've been there too recently. Yes. I understand that he's begun to extend his business empire a lot there and employ a lot more people in the region, and so he believes he can ride on the back of that to win something. But the CPP have absolutely no idea why that has become an issue. That region has become important for them because it's going to be difficult. It's going to be still the NDC. The NDC, I believe, based on the trend, they say something happens that nobody can foresee, will still win. But the question then will be by how much? Do they drop some votes, or do they increase on what they built on in 2012, where in fact there was a slight drop? That's why that region is important, particularly for the MPP. For the PNC, that's the only place they know that they can get some votes. A lot of the guys come from the Upper West, Benalmona. The presidential candidate himself has associations there, and they have a house on Azon in the Upper East region, although he's aligned to the NDC somewhat because he's, of course, a staff of the presidency. That's why I guess it's important, particularly for the MPP. For the NDC, they need to make sure they hold on to what they have.
Very well. Thank you very much. And that is head of our political desk here at Joy News, Evan Spencer, with some analysis there. Well, we're still staying on the campaign trail, but let's come down south, particularly the eastern region where MPP presidential candidate Nana Akufo-Addo is continuing his campaign there. His campaign has taken him to, among others, Donko Krom and Afram Plains. Listen to him as he addressed residents of Afram Plains earlier.
I fear bay. Constituency BR $1 million. And if I be a Juma constituency, now sanitation, water project, roads, about the China said Juma. We united also. I can't have a farmer a Juma Abba or Mani. One district, one factory. One district, one factory. Afram Plains, practice good cassava, Manchia Mudiano, processing facility to be bar, a Baba Buama, Juman so to be a Puama, Amaniama so to be a Pumaba, Amasika, teach you Abakia Fronsa. Piano Colomba, yeah, Juma Besomani, Mokwine, let you are here or hey. A front place, and because he says he can boa, and because he says he can boa, irrigation no bar, let me brasso, who Sika air baby book hours.
So that's MPP presidential candidate essentially telling the people to vote for him and that he will ensure that they are they become richer. They have money in their pockets in an Akufo-Addo administration. Well, in the Ashanti region, Chief of Staff Julius Deborah has also been vigorously campaigning for the governing NDC, and he's been talking about electoral violence this year. Julius Deborah, who has been addressing supporters there, cautioned the youth, particularly students in tertiary institutions, to guard against being lured into electoral violence.
Politics is not about insults, neither is politics about who can fight, because as I stand before you as the Chief of Staff to the President, when I wake up in the morning, I never go to his house to say, Mr. President, because I'm your Chief of Staff, I want to have breakfast with you. In the same way, if you also go to follow any politician who directs you to go and misbehave, who directs you to go and fight someone, and you get hurt, trust you me, the best they can do for you is just to come and visit you while you're on your hospital bed. I am therefore using this occasion to advise and encourage everybody. We are in the 21st century. Life has moved on. When time changes, please be encouraged and change. Let me advise all the NDC.
Well, here in Accra, the police and other security agencies have been meeting over, you guessed it, the elections. But it was more about educating the public rather than security and protection during the polls. The meeting was to launch election education materials. Interior Minister, however, used the opportunity to remind the police not to spare anyone or groups of persons intending to cause chaos before, during, and after the elections.
And indeed, you will all realize that rogue elements are beginning to test the pulse of the police. They are in a rehearsal mood, and therefore you should treat any rogue activity from today as a disturbance towards the preparations for the elections. And therefore your heightened presence at all places, your determination to be very professional, and also to ensure that citizens go about their duties within the rules and laws of this country. To ensure that the citizens of this country will continue to have confidence in the leadership of the Ghana Police Service to provide us with the necessary security that we.
Now, the United Kingdom High Commissioner John Benjamin has justified the Commission's decision to revoke all visas for political activists who cause violence and give hate speeches as Ghana heads to the polls. Speaking exclusively to Joy News on the sidelines of the launch of a manual on election adjudication in Ghana, Mr. Benjamin also urged the media to report such politicians to them to face the full rigors of the law. He spoke to Beatrice Edu.
We hope as a result of those few incidents that the situation will be under control and there won't be any more. We've got all this way to within 3 weeks now of the elections, and the campaign has been very peaceful, it's been very impressive. But of course, in any country, the tensions get a bit higher the closer you get to the date. So we just hope that cool heads will prevail on all sides, and the job of public security will be left to the people it should be left to, which is the police.
Finally, you said that visas of those who cause violence would be revoked. How is the British High Commission going to do this?
Well, I'm not going to reveal the details, but of course, if it comes to our attention that people are organising or provoking vigilantes or using hate speech, then we will consider that action.
Now let's head to voting school. As Ghana heads to this year's crucial elections, the stakes are high and the legal battles are expected to soar. Your voter education series, The Voting School, shares details of the courts which can hear specific cases related to the elections. And that's how we wrap up the show today. We hope you enjoyed it and you have been educated. Join us same time tomorrow. I'm Arba Kumsin.